Okay, I'm doing a revised video in a little wider format. My regular video camera is not working properly, so I'm flipping my phone on its side and hopefully get a little better, wider view of my 1/24th slash 1/25th scale speed shop. This is Timmie's speed shop. And haven't done a whole lot to the outside, haven't done all the store lettering and everything yet, but just some details. Tiki's outside the door and doing the window displays. This little Japanese resin kit of Ed Roth and Rat Fink. And they mount up on this little Hot Wheel monkey bike. Got this little retro gas pump that I put some LED lighting in and did some custom paint work on. And I've started adding some figures. These figures are from American Diorama. Get them on eBay. They average $7 to $8 a piece, and they're really pretty good. They're a little big for some of the applications in here because most of the parts are 1/25th scale, but it's not far enough off that I'm really worried about it. So I'm sticking with them because there's just tons of them available. The little hot curl figure over there in the corner. This is a resin cast reproduction of a really hard to find figure that was released in an AMT 41 Woody model kit several years ago. Fortunately, a friend of mine was able to resin cast him for me, and so now I've got one. I just made a little display base for it out of Sculpey and added the surfboard and some wax in his hand and detailed him up. A lot of the resin pieces you'll see here, these tikis, the vulture, a few other things. Most of this stuff was cast by my buddy Jimmy Flintstone at Jimmy Flintstone Studios. Jim's really helped me out over the years with a lot of different stuff and a lot of different little detail things, and really appreciate his help. All these little trophies that you see in the windows and stuff, these are all from vintage AMT model kits, and I have done over 100 of them and airbrushed every one of them. Most of them are done in urethanes, candy urethanes. Little Rat Fink figure, he's from an early Revell kit. The steering wheel display is scratch built. I just painted all the wheels custom. That actual Rat Fink, that's a gumball machine Rat Fink, but he's been cast in resin and candy painted. And you can see I built all these little, the shelves are all resin surfboards, and I've got just little tidbits of stuff, toolboxes, helmets, everything's been airbrushed. A lot of this stuff is really, really tiny. I mean, really tiny, the little tiny helmets and stuff. I'll kind of go inside here now. This is like a lounge area. There's a lot of artwork on the walls done by some of my favorite artists and some of my buddies, Von Franco, Dirty Donnie, Keith Wiesner. There's a little bit of everything there. Coop. Just some of my favorite stuff. And I did a lot of stuff with really hot colors. And there's some real pictures of some of my good friends in there. My late friend and mentor, Sonny De Palma, my buddy Joe Enyart, and I've even got my dad in there. And this is not done. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it is far from finished. All these old tables are just scratch built out of sheet plastic and then custom painted. I used an engine block for the stand on that. All those chairs are resin cast, and I put the little zebra print in them. The zingers are in there. My good friend Denny Johnson, who's the inventor of the zinger model kits. Got a little placard in there representing him. Denny's still alive, still building models after all these years. Great artist. The motorcycles, these are Jimmy Flintstone resin kits. They're a combination of resin and metal. My good friend Chuck Darnell cast a lot of the little small pieces. He also gave me that little miniature tractor. That's a vintage MPC kit. Another resin bike. And some more resin tikis. The little slot machine was given to me by Christopher Canada, another one of my model buddies. And there's more trophies, and I did a kit vault of vintage model kits down there. Printed all those out on the computer and then built the little vault for them. I have a lot of miniaturized model boxes. The pedal cars are all Hot Wheels that I tore apart and custom painted. More helmets, micro machines. I got pieces of model kits. There's my buddy Chuck in there. The display cabinet, I scratch built that cabinet and just added as many cool chrome parts as I could find to that. And there's some milled parts in there too, but just a lot of custom valve covers. And I went with a lot of retro looking stuff from the, you know, the 60s and 70s, a lot of that kind of stuff. It's my favorite. And a little Stingray, that's a resin cast Ed Roth trike body. And I'm gonna have to get something to stand on or sit on here and get up a little higher above everything. And I'm gonna have to try to keep this as short as possible. In the back here is the actual speed shop area. And I've got a little bit of everything in there under construction. Boats, very rare little tiny speedboat kit. And I've got part shelves, of course. I've got my guy welding on. I think my battery's actually going dead on. Yeah, my lights are very low in the shop right now. My wife forgot and left the switch on today, and drained my 9-volt battery that powers that right now. It'll be on a regular source later. That's my dad in his go-kart, 1961. And I'm going to try to whip this around here. Now, I may be shooting myself because I can't see the angle, and I'm not sure how good the lighting is, but give you an idea. There's parts bench, toolboxes, and everything else that's going on in this shop. Let me try to do this without kicking this thing off, which I've already done twice. And there's some more figures back there, and just a lot. I just scattered little tiny detailed parts on the bench. I've just tried to add a lot of detail to every single piece that's in here and custom paint every single piece that's in here. I use a lot of House of Colors urethanes. Also use Auto Air, a lot of their fluorescent colors. This is my buddy Sonny DePalma's airbrush studio. That's Sonny. We lost Sonny to cancer about 8 years ago, and he was my very good friend and mentor for many, many years, and this is a little tribute to him. And Sonny's actually in there. You can see him right there, pinstriping a panel, and that's his airbrush bench. Paint booth is behind there with a car body. There's a custom painted car body, a modified CUDA in there, and all the little spray guns, and there's lighting in there. It should be a lot brighter than it is right now if the batteries were up. I apologize for that. Oh, let me swing around here. Most of the art in here is Sonny's artwork. His posters that I printed. And hopefully, I'm not sure how good the lighting is back there. The rear wall's got a lot of little pieces and parts. Pictures of Sonny and his girlfriend Pam there with his real 55 Chevy. We've got drums of paint. And I'll swing back around here. There's shelves full of paints and catalysts and everything else. That's a resin cast rat fink that I lit up with blue LEDs. So hopefully I give you a little better idea of what's going on here. This is just kind of an overview. And I'm sorry I'm shadowing this. The lighting behind me is kind of making me throw some shadows here. But this whole thing is almost 3 feet long and 2 feet wide. And it's going to have a whole lot more stuff in it. There's going to be a lot more going on in that front showroom where that big open area is. I think I'm going to build a scale slot car track in there that'll probably have some lighting and stuff in it. And just try to continue to add a lot of details. I started work on this in 2017. I actually started gathering parts back in 2015. And it's just kind of grown as I gather parts and stuff. So, and my ideas change, and I've got to start the next thing. This is all textured. I applied this. I use a textured paint like concrete to do all of the sidewalk area, and the building is a different type of textured material that I adhered to wood after I made the whole thing out of wood. And now I'll be adding lettering and signs to the front of the building. That's coming up. and kind of give you a long shot. This is sitting on top of a cabinet that I just restored, an antique cabinet that's 100 years old. It's got a lot of my model work in it, and I'll be doing a separate video of that coming up here real soon. I'll just give you a quick shot of it anyway. So this came out of a store in downtown Daytona Beach that was in business in the 1920s or 30s. Went out in the 70s, and a good friend of mine managed to get 2 of these cabinets out of there, and he just gave me one a couple of years ago, and I just finished restoring it recently. Wood is absolutely beautiful. But anyway, there's the speed shop, and I'll get this posted back online soon, and you guys can check it out. Thanks for looking.